Hello and welcome back to Severna Republic. But this is a new republic, a new beginning. As again, I reached the upper limit of what my computer can handle and what the game can achieve through its programming. It became unpleasant to play in. I got up to around 400,000 people. Um, I'll just pop in an image now of the old Republic when we were near the 400,000 mark. So yeah, as you can see, the island got pretty densely compact, and it just got very unpleasant. And there were certain things that I'd like to change, certain things that I would like to do more efficiently. So we are now going to take that journey together. I'm going to try and show from each step that I do from a very early game up until mid game, and then I'll try and separate these into some sort of cohesive episode structure. So it's a new beginning, and we are ready to go. So the new island that we have is a little bit larger than the original Severna. And as you can see, there are three primary build areas. We've got the plain up at the north, then the sort of central, western, and southern plain. So it's a lot larger. It's a slightly edited map that is available on the workshop. But other than that, the history of Severna is the same. So it's in the North Sea, and the island has always been relatively ignored due to the fact that it has very weak soils and is in the middle of the North Sea, which is notoriously stormy. But after a recent discovery of oils on the island and the high amounts of resources, many people have moved to the island from the surrounding countries, so Scandinavian countries, the UK, France, the Netherlands, Denmark, etc. And they have all formed a nation because nobody had any prior claim on the island. It was just sat there, you know. Complicated history with the island. There's a few spooky things going on about it, but a few sort of rumours and that. But these groups of people from all across Europe and indeed the world, but primarily Europe due to its proximity, have come to the island to start a commune. They then just begun searching the island to see whether there was any resources on the island. Discovered the lava tubes underneath it. We'll go into that, and also discovered the resources. And as the nations of Europe didn't really want to, take the small island by force, they basically said, "Okay, you can have the island, but you only have a few 100 meters off your shore, and the rest of the resources and gas and everything in the seabed belongs to the other countries surrounding." So that's kind of how Severna has come to be, just to try and put a bit of a world building spin on that. Excuse me, I do have a cough. I will try and edit these out, but I'll probably miss a couple. But I do keep coughing, so please bear with me on that. Okay, so let's go into the island then. So I've not really done much. This is just left over from when I was editing the map. I've just got one kind of main road there, splitting across the southern plain. I've got one construction yard with a load of groundworks vehicles. It will save a lot of money when it comes to early game. You know, if you need to level any terrain or anything like that, the cost of that will quickly add up. So I do recommend it. Also, it helps make sure you've got the build from resources on. I wish there was a setting where you could say groundworks by local vehicles, but still use money to build. But yeah, so just when you doing any sort of groundwork, once you've got a construction yard, always make sure you've got the build from resources so that you can essentially do earthworks for free. Okay, so we're gonna put a dock here so I can import resources, so I'm not paying a high amount of delivery for the early construction. I think I was going to start. Well, see, I still might do that. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So we're going to start the first residential area here, and then the construction industry will be here, where there's this strong good supply of stone, quarry, gravel, etc. on these cliffs. So this island does have a few more geological features than Old Severna. I think it's probably around twice the size of the old island, and it does appear that it is slightly, it's going to be off center, as in the Severna was a nice, right in the center, everything. This is definitely going to be a slightly different network system, but I think what I'm going to try and do is kind of make each one of these planes its own entity, kind of, and so there won't be many vehicles and resources going between them per se, but we'll see. I do have a few ideas to improve efficiency of this republic compared to my last one, but who knows whether I will be able to make much of a dent on that, and it will be quite a while before we reach the level of population. Well, possibly, I don't know, but probably. So let's crack on. So we want, with the dot being sort of here, it's and this road, this is central to this plane here, and this will become like the main trunk road. It won't just be this road. There will be many different things going on there. But for now, you just want to make sure that you've got a way of getting cheap resources onto the island, because you don't want to be even if you're doing when you're doing auto builds, some of it you're going to have to do. That's just one of them things, but you want to get your construction industry up and running as quickly as possible. So we're going to dock here. Well, actually, I'm going to have 2 docks. So we'll get some storage. Have this one because this is a mod. It is available on the workshop. Just search that word there. Yeah, good luck if you've got a Western keyboard. But yeah, I will try and put some link. Well, I will put a link to all of the mods that I subscribe to. Not necessarily. It's not. I won't obviously use all of them in the game, but you'll be able to find the ones that I use a lot, my regular ones. Oh, well, hang on. We might have this one actually. Corrugated warehouse. I don't think I've ever used this one before. So it's handy because you can store open storage materials and warehouse materials in the same warehouse. So when the ships are coming here, they will be able to unload both things into this warehouse. We will also need to connect to the railway network. To start off with, I recommend using wooden railway lines. Electric trains, obviously, in the future will be much more efficient, but to get going, use the wooden railways because the price difference is quite significant. And if you plan to have a lot of railways, that will quickly add up. So when I first start the map, I will only have like one railway, but I will always leave plenty of space either side for future upgrades. But you're just laying out the outline of the Republic, the most basic level possible, but with a mind that you will need to constantly expand and change things going forward. So the better you stick to your own game rules or your own, keeping things organized, the much easier it will be to identify problems later on in the game. So always try and keep your infrastructure. I mean, it's up to you however you want to make your own problems, build your dream. But this is how I play to get up to the population and efficiency that I do, because later on in the game it does start to get difficult. Solving the problem is I think sometimes the easy part, whereas just identifying where the problem is, that's the hard part. Especially, I don't know whether everyone experiences this, but the water system, I do tend to struggle with finding issues with that. But I am getting better day by day. Okay, so we've got the railway then, so just loop this back round. So we've just called this area here dot one. Keep it simple, at least in the early game, and then you can start to, name places or whatever later on. But it just, when you get notifications and things, it does make it a little bit easier to quickly locate where that is. So we'll also need the dock, mole. No. I don't want to put it too far away. Right, have I got me? Yeah. That's rock. It's not going to do very much. I might be able to put it here. Not quite where I wanted it, but oh, that's better. Put it there. I mean, all these roads, everything will probably change. You know, this is such early days. You know, you sort of have this plan in your head, but then sometimes it doesn't always work out. But the rules that you can set yourself, doesn't matter how the game turns out, really, because those rules, if you always follow them, then you've always I don't know what I was going to say then. I lost my train of thought. I'm going to put another road. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Always use the mud roads because they're free. And trust me, you will be changing your road layout when you're first laying down loads. So these two roads will give us like the outline of that space that will eventually be used for probably a lot of railway lines and railway connections, as this will be. I plan to build like 3 large cities on each one of these planes, and I'm going to try and sort of build them like I usually do, like you know, side by side developing, but due to there being plenty of stone here, this is a logical place to start on the southern one, because the northern one, even though it's got these impressive cliffs where the old shoreline used to be before the ground rose up, because essentially Severna is a ancient volcano, or what remains of an ancient volcano. So over the years, it's actually been pushed up, sort of similar to how Yellowstone rises up over time. So these plains used to actually be bays. So it's where the sea used to lap against the island. That's why you have these exposed large cliffs here, and then the relatively flat plains, because obviously it's been worn down by millions of years of the sea, and that sort of escarpment is present across Severna, particularly in the eastern side of the island. As you can clearly see on the map there, that most of the original island was in the eastern side, and the central and southern plains are the ancient fluvial plain of the old river that used to flow from a lake that existed that still does, but in the past the actual volcano ridge obviously circled all the way around, and so the lake water was a lot higher, so that would then outflow into the river system and then flow out over what's now the central plain. But there was a large eruption which blasted out this large section of the volcano here, and obviously the stones and wreckage, rubble from that have been washed away, because this was during a time when the sea level was higher. So yeah, so this is like original old island Severna, and then all of this is new Severna. So we'll have one plan to build one big city up there, and one big city down here, and start with the city here. I also need to get a university going pretty damn quickly, as I can't refine oil, but we will be exporting it. I will be constructing a pumping dock quite quickly. But before we do that, I do want to get my construction industry up and running, because we can get them on the move as early as possible. So that we shall build that railway, build that dock. Buy a couple of barges and get the resources being delivered. Need a truck connection to that to improve efficiency. There we are. So general, that's fine. So it's going to go to the Soviets. It's going to load up food. No, this one will load steel, prefab panels, bricks, and what's so the other one? It'll be food. So yeah, so we'll order them. So we've got our mechanical components and the electronic components for construction. Wooden panels, that's it. That's what I was missing there. And then we'll need to wait for the dock to be built before I can add it into the route. Unload. Wait until unloaded. And then when it goes to load, it's also going to unload whatever it's got on it. Because otherwise you can end up with a situation where it can't unload itself, so because it's full of a certain resource, and so your supply chain will break down. You don't want that. So always make sure, and it kind of like prices fluctuate. You know, construction materials, they're not very expensive anyway in the grand scheme of things. But selling them back and then you can sometimes work in your favour. So that one's on its way. This one will also go to the Soviet border, but it will buy food, clothes, meat, and electronics. And this one will wait until it, and then we'll keep that one for now. So we've got District 1, just because I needed to name that area to put the construction yard there. So what can I call this first home just for now? Always set your warehouses for limited amount so they don't end up getting jammed with one type of resource that you don't need. And make sure you do that for both the covered storage and the open storage if you do have a warehouse where you can have both. Now I know that I'm going to be using a lot of bricks. I don't usually build republics on islands this big, so it is quite a novelty for me, so I'll be able to spread my building out a little bit more than I usually do. I have a few more green spaces, which will be nice. I've mentioned it in many of my other videos, but when I'm designing a residential area, always connect to the railway first, and then go to the workshop and download this. Where is it? There. Download this. Where else? Say it's just makes it so much more convenient because it holds meat, food, clothes, everything that a district needs, and it connects to the railway as well, which makes it very easy and efficient to keep topped up, because that's your main bottleneck in the game. Is later on in the game, if you want to be, unless you have ghost purchase on, which will just bleed your economy dry, it'll bleed you dry. So if you want a hope of running a functional republic late on in the build, you're going to have to set up your distribution network via rail. It's got to be done. Road vehicles are good for like the last 400-500 meters, so you have a central storage in each district, and then maybe one distribution office for that district that will distribute goods from that district into that own district itself, because what uses up your performance with the vehicles is mapping the route. So the further you're asking these vehicles to travel, the longer, the more usage you will have from that process, and you'll notice that your performance is beginning to heavily lack in performance. So with this warehouse, you're able to put it in the middle of the district and connect all the shops and all the cafes or pubs or whatever you want in the central precinct of the district. It's up to you, but it will make the later game way easier. And also it keeps your island, pretty resource well off, because you've got this individual storage in each district that has a high capacity, as well as your in our republic, as well as our central storage sites, which will obviously hold a lot more resources. So just thinking now precisely which way to put the railway lines coming in. So I was going to do them in the middle of that avenue there, but then I don't know. Mouse. So just before I go any further, just want to quickly show you basically my base plan. So what I'm going to do over the next 5 years in the game, we need to get our basic infrastructure laid down to power water, construction industry up and running, oil exporting, local production in, basic goods, food, clothes and meat, and I want to get up to 25,000 citizens. So another aspect as well of my gameplay is this is essentially the plan that I follow for residential districts. So we'll have the railway coming in there in the middle, connected to storages, which are then connected to stores, which are then connected to the citizens' residence, which will be outside, and then we'll have a ring for infrastructure as well, for water pipes, etc. in the game. So yeah, just wanted to quickly show you that basic plan there.
Already half an hour long. There is another 4 episodes coming, as this was a 3-hour record of the development of this area. So keep an eye out for that. This should be arrived in the next couple of days. Please do like and subscribe if you like this content. I'm waffling on like a crap. Then let me know. Thank you very much, and you have a great weekend. Good day, comrades.